I need a new bed. My current one, it's not very big and it's not very pretty. So let's solve both of those problems and let's build one. I'm including these drawings and dimensions to try and help you visualize the bed and hopefully make it easier to build. I started off by cutting the plywood to length and then I sanded it down. Okay, so this is the main headboard piece. This will all be painted black, and then the slats will be stained. But I'm gonna add feet to this so it's gonna stand up behind the bed. Normally I would just make it like a hanging headboard, but where I'm gonna be putting this I can't hang it, so I'm gonna add feet on this one. And I didn't want to just butt up the feet to the bottom of this so it wouldn't be very stable, so I'm gonna run it up the back of this and attach it on the back, but I didn't want you to be able to see that from the side, so I added these little sides that I'm going to also put about 2 slats on, but I'm going to route out the back of a few slats so it goes around this seamlessly. I believe this little piece right here is about 1.5 inches. Yeah, 1.5 inches plus this, and this makes 2 inches right here, and then the slat is also going to add about another 1/2 inch, so overall it'll be like 2.5 inches going back. That is what it's looking like, and it has it on both sides. So now I think we can paint it. Alright, so I have it primed and painted in a satin black, and I've already attached this one board, but I just painted it the satin black base so that we will see this in between the slats. So now that we have this, we're gonna stain our boards, then we can just attach all of them. I'm using my planer to flatten the edges of my 2x4s. This is completely optional, but I wanted a sharper edge on them, and honestly, I just wanted to use it because I got it recently. After that, I cut all my 2x4s to size using my table saw, and then I sanded them all down. Okay, so these are all of my slats. There are 46 in total, I believe. There are 42 normal ones across the front, and then there's these 2 special ones that will go on the corners. See, I cut out a little piece of them. I think these are about 3/8 of an inch in on each side. So there's like a 5/8 inch piece of wood that is on the exterior. And these are going to go on the corners so that it is 1 inch on the front and 1 inch on the side. And I made 2 of these, and I just ran these through my table saw, so it'll be pretty good. And then I have the rest of these that I just sanded, and now I believe that I can stain all of these. Alright, so we have them all stained. There are 42 of these that will go across the front. These are all just normal ones. And then we have 2 over there that are for the corner, and 2 on the over there that will also go on the sides. I stained all of these in this Minwax dark walnut stain, and all of these will go on a black painted piece of plywood that I have already done, as y'all already know. These will all be spaced 1/2 inch, and these are 1 inch wide, as you may know. So the next step will be to put these all on that black plywood base. So let's get to that. So as you can see, I finished putting all the slats on here. We have our little side ones too. You just can't see them in the picture right now. But I attached all of these from the back. I messed up in a few places, but I'm just gonna use my black paint pen to fill in some places like that, but it'll be fine. I found the easiest way, if you have like two higher surfaces, if you can lay it on top of that and nail it from below, I tended to not mess up as much. So if you can do that, try that. So now that this is complete, other than the legs that will go on the back, and maybe a few braces because this plywood is a little bit warped, I can start on the actual frame. So I'm going to be using 1x8s to do this, and I'm going to use 4x4s to do the legs, but I'm going to do a few things to them, so they're not just going to be normal 4x4s. So let's get into that. These are my 1x8s that I am going to be using for the frame of the bed frame. And these are my two front and back boards. And then these longer ones are my sideboards. The long ones are 80.5 inches long, and the front ones are 62.25 inches long. And what I'm doing right now is I'm cutting a 45-degree angle on these so that they can butt up to each other and fit pretty seamlessly. And see, in the corner, one of these legs will go in here, so this is like an upside down view basically, so the legs will stick out from the corners inside of it. And the way I plan to join all these is I have these little brackets that I will attach to the legs and the sideboards. One will go on one and one will go on the other, and they will just kind of slide into each other. So yeah, that's my plan, and I'm going to finish cutting my 45-degree angles on the rest of these boards, and then we can start assembling basically with these. Now that I have the legs put on, I attach these to the front boards, the shorter ones, the ones that were about 62.25 inches, I think. We are gonna use these little brackets to attach the sideboards to the front and the legs. So it comes with this little thing, this little bracket with the screws, and then it has these little hooks, and then we're gonna attach one to one board, one to the other, and they're just gonna slide together like that. So I'm going to attach this little one with the screws onto my leg right here. I just kind of measured this whole thing to where I could like put this flush with the top of the leg, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make it flush to the outside where the next board will go, and then flush with the top. Now that all the sides are latched together with our little brackets, I am going to put some supports, as you see, laying on the ground right there. What I did with those, I just got a 2x4 and split it in half, and I'm just going to use that on the sides, and then I got what was left over, and I'm going to put that on the front and back. And then once I attach all of those, I'm going to run a board from the middle, going from left to right or right to left in the middle, you know, and so to give it a little bit more structural support. And this is made for like a box spring to sit on. If you're going to put a mattress, you can put more slats across the middle like that, but since I'm just doing a box spring, I'm just going to put like one in the middle right there. So I'm going to sand these, and then once they're sanded, I'm going to attach them to the sides, and then we'll do the middle piece. Okay, so now that we have our bed frame finished, we're going to stain that later, but for now, I cut my 1x4s to length, and I think I cut these to 72 3/4 of an inch, and I mean 72 would be fine for me, but I wanted to account for my little support bar up there, so I just made it an extra 3/4, so it'd be pretty even. My bed will be about, the top of the mattress will be about 33 inches, so I just made to where the bottom of the headboard will be about 3 or 4 inches below the top of the mattress. What I did is I measured on the bed frame from the outside of the headboard past the legs to make sure I would have room for these. So I measured 5 inches from the very outside of the headboard towards in here, and I'm going to put the edge of the board on that 5 inches and just screw it in. And then I'm going to butt the front up to the top. And you don't have to put this support beam up here. That's totally optional. I just did it because my piece of plywood was very warped, and I just wanted to add it to straighten it out just a little bit more. So that's optional. Do it if you want. So yeah, I'm just going to attach these with some normal screws, no pocket screws, anything like that. And yeah, so I'm going to do that to both sides, and then we will be able to stand this up. So now that the legs are on, I propped this up. I measured from the sides. It ended up being about 4 inches from the side, but I just made sure it was even on both sides before I do this. And once I got them even, I just have this prop. There's something behind this that's just kind of propped up. If you can find a wall or anything to lean it up against, this will be best, or somebody else to help you. Anyways, I have it propped up here and aligned where it needs to be. And I have these clamped down with my 2 clamps. I'm going to use 1/2-inch bolts to fasten this to the base. So I have a 1/2-inch drill bit, and I'm just going to drill my holes for the bolts to go into. I'm going to add the bolts now, but as you can see, I had to drill another hole because I realized that by putting a hole up here, the bolt would be sticking out a little bit, and the bed is going to rest right here. So we can't have anything sticking out right here. So this kind of ran into my other hole, but yeah. The other side looks about like this. Anyways, yeah, so we have to have 2 bolts below the top of this. But I don't think it'll be a big problem at all. I actually would probably suggest not using carriage bolts because you can use a wrench or something to grab the back of it. But my hardware store didn't have anything that was the length I needed in the 1/2-inch, so I had to use these carriage bolts. But yeah, since I'm using these carriage bolts, I'm gonna have to like hammer the back of it in just a little bit so it'll catch. After test fitting the headboard, I stained the bed frame and coated it and the headboard with the polyacrylic. Once that dried, I sanded it down with a high grit sandpaper to get rid of any of the micro bubbles or imperfections, so it'll make it super smooth. I also painted the legs black so that they won't be as noticeable behind the bed.
Well, miss, I guess I'll be on my way now.